Welcome to Good Groceries with Tiffany. I have something good for you today. We are making vegan sweet potato pie. Yes, that's what I said, vegan. And it's rich, it's creamy, it's not missing any flavor, it's not missing any richness, but it's all plant-based. You ready? Let's get into our groceries. All right, here we go. We have sweet potatoes. We have about 4 cups of sweet potato puree, just egg substitute, dairy-free heavy cream, sugar, vegan butter, and cinnamon, nutmeg, and vanilla. Very easy, very simple. Let's put our groceries together. Now for our sweet potato puree, I steamed the potatoes. Don't boil them because it boils all of the flavor out and it kind of makes the potatoes waterlogged and it kind of have like this bland taste. So I would either bake them or steam them, all right? Let's put it together. And these are still kind of warm. The ingredients blend together better when the potatoes are warm and everything is at room temperature. I'm gonna just move some of this stuff out of the way. And we're going to, the first process to our pie is de-stringing the puree. And the only way you can do that is to catch them on the beaters. And I'll show you how we do that. I do it about 10 times. So I just go around, low speed, and kind of lightly bring it up. The puree falls off, and then you see that there, you're just left with the strings and not necessarily the pulp. And then you want to take your machine, unplug it, and you want to rinse it under hot water because it just comes off fast with hot water, and de-string it. So you just kind of get all those strings off. You don't want to put those back into your pie. Repeat this step about 10 times. All right, so we repeated that step about 10 times. And then this is what I like to do. I like to just take some of the puree and kind of smash it upside the bowl here to just see if I can see a lot of strings. And it looks pretty good, pretty smooth. I might de-string it again once I get the cream in there, but that's pretty good. You're not going to get all of the strings out, but you do want it to be as string-free as possible. All right, let's add all of our ingredients. We have 2 1/4 cups of sugar. I know, don't come for me. That's too much sugar. I promise you, I've tried it with less. I've tested this recipe a lot, and 2 1/2 cups is the right number. It's the right amount. It just is. I know, it's okay. It's okay. But hey, look on the bright side. It's plant-based. All right, we have a cup of melted plant-based butter. It needs to be melted. You don't want it to be like where you would cream it like for a cake. I have 1 cup of egg substitute. I have 1 1/2 cups of plant-based cream. Actually, I'm going to blend this a little bit more before I put that cream in there because that cream will whip up and I don't want it to whip up. I just want it to combine. I'm gonna combine this together. I'll go ahead and add our 1 tablespoon of cinnamon and 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. Right. So we'll just kind of combine it together a little bit before we go back to our beater, our mixer. All right, we're gonna go back in with our mixer. Kind of move some stuff. Clean the sides of the bowl, making sure that everything under the bottom has combined and everything has the seasoning, everything has sugar, everything has butter. So you want to go up from the bottom and fold it up, scraping the bowl, going underneath the bottom and just making sure it's all good in the hood. Oh, you know what? I forgot the flour. We do need some flour. All right, we're just gonna clear the decks some here. Get out of the way. So I have 2 tablespoons of flour that I got. These are our pie crusts. This is, it doesn't necessarily say plant-based, but if you look at the ingredients, you have to read your ingredients. There is no animal products in here. There's no egg, no dairy, anything like that. But you do your own research and find the crust that works best for you. All right, we have our cream, 1.5 cups of our non-dairy cream. And you can use the one of your choice, or you can omit the cream and you can go for like oat milk. You want a really thick, creamy milk. So oat milk or cashew milk would be another alternative. If you want something nut-free, then I would go with the one that I used, which was the Silk non-dairy creamer. We have 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract. I'm gonna just lightly bring this together because we don't want that whipping cream to whip up. It will whip up like whipped cream, and I don't want that effect in here. I just want it to be silky and luxurious. And I'm waiting to put the flour end on the end because I don't want to develop the gluten in the flour, and that will make our pie kind of like stodgy and stiff. We don't want that. All right, now we're gonna go in with the flour, and I'm going to sprinkle it over the top so that I don't have a bunch of lumps. You don't need to sift it. I haven't sifted it, and it's come out nice and fine. Only 2 tablespoons is all you need. All right, again with the same folding, go in, bring it up from the bottom to the top. Making sure it's combined, and then we'll give it a whirl with the mixer to just make sure everything is good and combined and everything is nice and homogeneous. You can whip this up in no time. I think the longest part is it baking and steaming your potatoes. All right. Let's go in with our beater. Woo! All right. We have pie batter, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Now we're going to, I don't need to taste this because I've made this so many times and testing the recipe. I know exactly what it tastes like. But if you don't like cinnamon, you don't like nutmeg, you don't like all those things, then you know you can adjust the flavorings for your family and what you like, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and get our pie crust and let's fill her up. Now you don't have to fuss with making a pie crust from scratch, but if you want to make a pie crust from scratch, here are some plant-based alternatives. You can ground, coarsely ground cashews or pecans or the nut of your choice, with a little bit of butter, maybe a little bit of flour, and you can do a pressed crust for that. That's also gluten-free. If you want to keep the batter gluten-free, omit the flour and do 1 tablespoon of cornstarch by itself, no flour. That will also give you a good bind for your pie without having to use any gluten ingredients. This pie crust is not gluten-free, but there are plant-based gluten-free frozen pie crusts out there. Whole Foods has them, Sprouts has them. So you just do a little bit of research for your area. For my area, I had to drive an hour away to Whole Foods to get this plant-based organic pie crust. And this is a 9-inch deep dish. If you like a shallower pie, then you might have to make it your own, so that you can get it, you know, the depth that you want. So let's fill her up. And I'm using an old-fashioned ladle. When I was a kid and my mom was making sweet potato pie, she used a coffee cup. That's what she filled up the pie crust with. Look at that. Ooh, doggy. And smooth it out. You don't want a punchy pie. Like, I mean, fill it up. Put the stuff in there. You might have a little bit of pie batter left over, and that's fine. But this recipe is enough for 2 full pies. And if you have some batter left over, you probably can, I don't know, make some little mini pies or something. But this is just, it's only a little tiny bit left over after you fill them up. Yeah, we like our pie full, honey, full. All right, we're going to bake this in the center of the oven on a preheated oven. It's preheated to 350 degrees. And you want to bake it, start checking it at about the 50-minute mark. Some ovens vary. I have, actually, it's baked at different times with different recipes or different ingredients that I've tried. And for this particular recipe, 350 for about 65, 70 minutes was the golden time. So you have to cook it according to how your oven works. All right, I'm gonna pop these in the oven and I'll see you back here in about an hour. All right, our pie is done. Come on down. So it took 70 minutes for this to get done, but look at this. See how it's golden brown? And see those little charred bits? That is perfectly fine. That's just extra caramelized sugar. It's going to be good. You won't miss the fat. You won't miss the butter. You won't miss the heavy cream or whatever it is you usually put in your sweet potato pie. And this is plant-based and it's gonna be so good. But you can't cut it. You need to let it sit and cool for at least 3 hours before you cut it, okay? So we're gonna let this hang out for 3 hours, 4 hours, or maybe even overnight, and then we'll go in for a taste. All right, it's the next day. We're gonna go in for a taste. Look at this pie, good old country pie. Nice and golden brown, so good. Let's go for a taste. Ooh, doggy. We don't need no big old piece. We just need a taste. Look at that. Look at that, holding together. No eggs. Look at crust, golden brown crust. Crust is all the way done. You're not gonna have a soggy bottom crust. Ooh, yes, honey. Look at that. Now that was worth waking up to. Woo, praise him. All right, so look back through the video so you can get some tips on some different alternatives on how you can make this. If you want to omit some of the cinnamon, switch up the measurements of the nutmeg, you can absolutely do that. It's your pie. But I'm telling you, the ratio of just egg, cream, and sweet potato and sugar is spot on for the texture and that sweetness. But you can play around with the vanilla and the cinnamon and the nutmeg. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share my channel, share this recipe, make this recipe. You will not be disappointed. Thank you for watching Good Groceries. Love you. Mwah.